Namaste everybody. Just thought I would do a little talk inspired by my wife to do so. She thought it'd be a good idea, and then so did I. So we're in Adelaide and we're just down at Linear Park here on a fairly cool day, hence the scarf. So yeah, thanks very much for being with me. Chris is my name. So what I was thinking about doing, there is actually a Chinese proverb that probably many of you have already heard, but I just think it's really good because the topic I was thinking of doing today was the big picture. That's what I wanted to call it, the big picture. So this one, it's easy to find on the internet if you want to see this one, and to remember it. But it's a Chinese proverb about Sāi Wēng lost his horse. So I just found it really helpful for my own life, just for perspective, and I thought I'd share it. So once upon a time there was a man living on the northern border of China who was very good at raising horses. Everyone called him Sāi Wēng, which basically meant old man on the border. So one day one of Sāi Wēng's horses escaped from the stable and ran over to a nearby territory run by the Hu people. Upon hearing this news, all his neighbours came to comfort Sāi Wēng, thinking that he'd be very sad about the news of losing his horse. But to everyone's surprise, Sāi Wēng wasn't that affected by it. He said, "How do we know if it's good, or how do we know it's bad?" Anyway, several months later, this runaway horse came back from this Hu territory with another horse. And his neighbours heard the news and came to congratulate Sāi Wēng. "Oh, well done, this is such great news." And Sāi Wēng just looked at them and said, "Getting a fine horse for nothing, maybe good, maybe bad, I'm not sure. Time will tell." So Sāi Wēng had a son who enjoyed horse riding and regularly rode horses. One day he took this new horse out from the one that he got from the neighbouring territory, and he had an accident and fell off and broke his leg. So again, the same situation, the neighbours came and said, "Oh, what a terrible thing, I feel sorry for you, and you know your son is injured in this way." But Sāi Wēng said, "My son breaking a leg might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. Time will tell." His neighbours, of course, were puzzled by that. They didn't really know what to make of that. They thought he might not be thinking clearly due to his grief. However, shortly after that incident, the Hu people began a large-scale invasion of China. The emperor started to amass a huge army to counter this attack, and he was recruiting all the able-bodied men in all the different villages, and of course Sāi Wēng's village. Because the Hu people were very good fighters, very fast, skillful fighters, they won nearly all their battles, and many soldiers on the emperor's army were killed. Yet Sāi Wēng's son survived because he didn't have to fight in the war because he had a broken leg, so he couldn't fight. So the fact that he had a broken leg saved him from being in the army to fight that battle. So there's a few things we can take from this, but some of them are things like this. Many things in a person's life are predestined. It's called karma. Everything, karmic reaction. Everything may be a blessing or a misfortune in disguise, meaning that you cannot just superficially judge whether something is good or bad, whether it's a blessing or misfortune. So I just found that really, such a simple story, but it really lets us appreciate the bigger picture when things happen in our life that we can't always work it out. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? You know, I lose my job, that door closes and then another door opens. etc., etc. So many situations in our life where we think it's bad, but it could be good. So it's such a big subject, and it can open doors into many different topics about, you know, what is good, what is bad, and destiny, karma, karmic reaction, things like that. There's so many things that we that we can't avoid in this world, of course. Things that are built into this world that are just part of material nature, such as birth, disease, old age, and death. This is just part of the deal. But as far as things that we have more control over, it's, you know, happiness and peace and where we're heading, what we're doing with our consciousness, how we're shaping our consciousness, how we're through our activities, and what we do with our energy, our time, our senses. This will determine not only current happiness but future happiness and our future situations. So our current actions and our past actions will determine where we're headed, basically, and therefore we're going to be reaping our karmic reactions at certain times. We may or may not understand why something happens, but when it does happen, again, it may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. Time will tell. And of course, if it does happen, then it means that it's meant to happen, and we deserve that to happen. So I guess I was just trying to get to the point of, even though we're talking about destiny and predetermined situations, ultimately we are responsible for a situation where we are now and where we're heading. And I just wanted to just mention that, you know, even though we're in the material world here and bound by all these material laws and situations, modes of nature, karmic reaction, so many things, ultimately there is a way to be free from the influence of all these different things, and that's to take to a spiritual process, and then we can transcend all these different material situations and things that we're going to experience in this world. The dualities of this world are here, you know, happiness, distress, hot, cold. The dualities, it's just inbuilt. Even if we're not looking for these things, they're going to come to us. So the spiritual process, it does enable us to transcend material nature and be happy now and in the future, and be free of our karmic reactions and from the past, and nullify our current actions, so they're not going to be causing us future grief and suffering down the track. So I just wanted to just make that point of the big picture. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day things, the mind, the present moment, just being overwhelmed by one, two, or several things. Usually it's a few things at once. But we can overcome that by keeping our eye on the big picture, the eternal picture, because as we're told through the Bhagavad Gita and so many other yoga texts, scriptures and texts around the world and different spiritual paths as well, they tell us this basic truth, and that's that we're all spiritual. We're spiritual beings currently in this human body, having an experience in the human body. But this is all temporary. The body's temporary, the situation is temporary, everything in this world is temporary. It's passing, comes and it goes. But we're eternal, we're spirit. So sometimes we forget this. We get overwhelmed by material energy, and we can lose sight of that and be caught up in me and my problems, me and my issues. But if we can step back from that, then we can actually experience, okay, I need to keep my eye on the bigger picture. So that's one aspect, but that in itself won't be enough to to give satisfaction and peace and happiness. That's a good start, but it's not the end. We need to engage in a spiritual process or practice that will actually give us the nourishment within, the happiness within, the satisfaction, peace within that we need, that we're looking for, and actually that we deserve, because that's part of our true being. We are happy by nature, peaceful by nature, blissful. But in this world we get covered up and we don't always see that. It's not that much time in the day, from a material perspective, that we're actually really happy and peaceful. But when we spiritualize our life, then we can be happy and peaceful throughout the whole day and your whole life. So people, you might be thinking, okay, well, how do I do that? How do I become a spiritual person? Well, when we move beyond just, reading about spiritual life, thinking about it, talking about it, we move to a situation where we actually do it, we apply it, and we have a process that we engage in where we have a shift in consciousness due to what we're doing, due to our activities. And the primary activity for this shift in consciousness and this spiritualizing of our life is meditation. In particular, meditating on transcendental sound, mantra yoga, mantra meditation, chanting of mantras, this transcendental sound. It is a spiritual sound, and because we're spiritual, there can be a connection there, a union, a linking up, spirit and spirit linking up. So the more that we do this chanting meditation, this mantra meditation, the more we'll be linked up with the higher power, the supreme source, the supreme soul. We'll be linked up with this sound, and we'll actually more and more experience our spiritual nature, and we won't be so caught up in all the material energy that can overwhelm us throughout the day. We'll be experiencing more and more who we are, our connection with the Supreme Source, and we'll be experiencing our relationship with the Supreme Soul, which is a relationship of love. And when that relationship is cultivated through regular meditation practice, that love will blossom and grow, and then we'll actually find that permeates our whole life in our relationships with other people and situations. Everything is permeated with that same consciousness that we've been experiencing in our meditation. We'll bring that into our day and into our life, and we'll actually care about others and love others, not just some others, we'll love everybody ultimately. So the more we do this, the more this reality will manifest. That's what I was trying to say before, is that the easiest way to come to this transcendental platform of love for the Supreme Soul, and therefore everybody, is the regular hearing and chanting of these holy names of the Supreme Soul. And there's many names. All the different cultures on the planet have got their different ways of referring to that Supreme Source. So they're all going to benefit all living entities when they partake in those transcendental holy names. So I just wanted to make that point of just keeping our eye on the big picture, because I can speak from experience, getting caught up in the minutiae of our lives, the smallness of our lives, and this particular problem or this particular issue or this situation, and it can be overwhelming. But as soon as I begin to chant again, I remember who I am, and I actually start to feel peaceful again and satisfied, and just feel like I'm back to myself again. This is, all right, yeah, okay, I'm back again. Whether that's on beads, chanting on beads, or chanting with family and friends, kirtan, with or without instruments, just chanting 2 or more people, kirtan, such a wonderful way to meditate, or just grabbing the guitar by myself sometimes and chanting. But as much as possible, if we can chant with others, it's a fantastic way to do it. The group energy, we're helping each other, feeding each other the mantras, and it's thoroughly recommended in this age that we're in now, this age, Kali Yuga, the age of chaos, quarrel and confusion, which is certainly the case. So I just wanted to finish with a little kirtan, really, just for, I don't know, a few minutes. We'll see how we go. Just because it'll just be a nice way to finish off. I think you can all, if you're interested, you can join in with me. You can just listen if you want, or you can chant along. Sometimes it's a call and response. Sometimes we do it all together. But whatever you're comfortable with, you can just listen or chant along. So the mantra that I'll be doing, Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. So as I said, it's one of many, many mantras. There's actually thousands of different mantras out there. Man is mind, tra to draw away. So drawing our mind away from other sounds and thoughts, and resting your whole being in the transcendental sound. Drink that sound in through the ears to the mind and heart, and immerse yourself. And really the key is resting in it, resting. We're actually resting in the sound, drinking it in, bathing our consciousness in it, resting our whole being in it. And we'll find this is food for the soul, nourishing. So let's get into it. I'll just grab the guitar. Okay. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. 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 Gopala, Gopala, Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Namaste, everybody. Thank you very much.